and welcome to my first video on my YouTube channel, Jayotos Photograpghy. First of many I hope to come. At the moment I'm just hiking to a little tabletop in South Australia, just outside the Flinders Ranges National Park. As you could probably see, I'm wearing a fly net over my head. The flies around here are a little bit savage. They'll take anyone on. So just to keep them off my face, especially in the midst of this coronavirus. I don't want to be touching my face to shoo the flies away. But anyway, you can probably see behind me the Flinders Ranges. They are the not sure what it's called, Wilpena Pound. This range here right at the end is called Rawnsley's Bluff, or Rawnsley Bluff. So we're going to see if we can get a photo this afternoon. It's about 5 o'clock. Another 2 hours 15 minutes before sunset. But the forecast isn't looking too good. Sunny right now. But we'll just have to wait and see what we can come up with. Alright. Don't know if you can see down there. I was going to film my struggle getting up the hill, but I'm naked, as you can probably tell by me breathing at the moment. But car's all the way down there. Not sure if you can see it. But now we're heading in there somewhere, and hopefully you find a photo. Now you're all probably wondering, the hill doesn't look that bad. Well, it never looks that bad, especially when using a wide angle lens on a GoPro. But in all honesty, it's probably not that bad. I'm just an unfit bastard. I'm a chunky fella with poor cardio. So when the coronavirus mutates and we have zombies, I'm gonna be the first one to go. Coming up to something now. Clearing a sign. I have a sign. Hope it's a sign to say it's the end. Alright, let's go. Okay. A mound of rocks, I guess that means something. What's it mean? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Okay, so this is the walk that I've done, not very far. Yeah, get that Twidale top. It's just a tabletop of erosion, as the thingamabob explains it. But it's a bit warm at the moment. Whew. It's currently the end of March, but we're pretty well north of Adelaide in South Australia, a few hundred k's. So it's getting up there as far as almost the Outback. Whew, but I'm a bit warm, and it probably wasn't a good idea to wear a black shirt. But oh well, live and learn. Ah, fly. March fly biting me. Ah! Ah! False alarm. Got him. So I've had a little bit of a wander around, taking some photos with my phone. I think I've found a couple of shots that I might like. I might try them out each with the Sony A7R3. But while I've waited for the sun to go down a little bit, still about an hour away, hour and a half away from sunset. But it looks like there might be some clouds, but there is a breeze. So I might just take some snaps and see which one I settle on. So you can probably see I've set up in front of this tree. My thinking with this particular tree is the trunk itself and the branches have twists and turns, and it's a little bit more interesting than the rest of the other trees, even though they're all dry trees, arid trees. It's got something going for it anyway. I'm shooting straight through the tree with the sun behind at f/16 to try and get a sun star through the tree. See how lucky we are. Behind the tree it's only blue skies, there's no clouds or anything, but I don't think it really matters in this case because the tree is filling most of the sky anyway. The foreground is just this rocky ground, pebbly ground in front of the camera. Adds a little bit of texture more than interest, I suppose. But the tree itself, I like the twists and turns, and you can see the tree's backlit, and you can see the sky through those gaps in the branches. So what I'll do, I'll bring you a bit closer to the back of this camera here, so you can have a look. I don't think this is going to be my primary shot for the night. I think this just works well now with the sun low-ish, but not quite soft or golden hour just yet. But I'll bring you over and you can have a look. Alright, I hope you can see this. Looks like the backlight is creating a bit of shadow in the front, but the back of the camera, but that's okay. Just don't mind the zebra lines. So what I've purposefully done is I've exposed the foreground pretty well. As you can see, I'm just 0.3 under a proper exposure. I usually underexpose all my exposures up to 1 stop under, because with RAW is pretty good. The highlights aren't that bad. I think they are blown out, but what I usually do anyway is I always do a 3-shot bracket, 2 stops on each bracket. So generally the third bracketed shot is useless most of the time, but it doesn't cost me anything to do an extra 3rd shot just in case. So you can see what I've done with the sun coming straight through the tree. Hopefully when the shot excuse me, and the shot goes off, we'll get a nice sun star. I was just, with this particular shot, like I mentioned, the tree is twisty and bendy, and that's quite interesting to me, but on this arid landscape, it kind of gives it that I don't know, almost African desert kind of feel, which I suppose isn't silly because we're in the, I guess, sub-outback of Australia at the moment. So I don't know, it gives me a good feeling that sort of represents this area well. Plus of the images that I've seen from the Flinders Ranges, this is not something that I've seen before. Yes, it's probably just a tree into the sun, but to me anyway, it seems to make sense. So we'll take this shot and I'll show you, and then we'll move on to the next one. So I think this is going to be the final image that I'm going to settle on for tonight. It looks like the forecast was correct and there's not really any clouds to speak of. In the distance, I'm not sure if you can see, there are some clouds and the wind is coming towards me, but I don't think they're going to get here. The last couple of hours it looks like the clouds have been blown away. But anyway, this shot that I've set up here, it relies on the branches coming across the top of a central focal point, which is the Rawnsley Bluff of the Flinders Ranges. So instead of having clouds, this branches on the trees are going to act as the interest in the sky and frame the bluff in the image. There's some also leading lines from the rocks that are on the left hand side. So all in all, the image is actually running up and over the left and over the top and then back down to the middle, creating a nice little peephole in the middle where you can see the bluff straight through. From your vantage point right there, you probably can't see, but again, I'll bring you closer to the camera so you can see what I'm thinking. Right now the sun is shining on the tree, which is not what I want because it just looks like a big mess that's lit up. When the sun pops down, what I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it'll go behind the mountains in the background, darken this off in the foreground, but the bluff itself will still be lit up, which will then be the focal point of the shot. That's the plan, but as everybody knows, plans don't always go to plan. Anyway, I'll bring you over, I'll show you my composition, and we'll go from there. As you can see here, I've got the bluff as a sort of center top third, not quite rule of thirds maybe, but near enough to. But you can see how I was explaining before about the tree coming up from the left corner with the stones, moving up and across to the top, and then the right hand side, and sort of somewhat being balanced on the right hand side by that green bush. But at the end of the day, the bluff itself is the focal point, looking through this natural window of sorts. But as you can see here, it's just too bright there and too bright on this side as well. So I'm hoping when the sun goes down a bit, it'll be blocked on the foreground. But the bluff itself will still be lit up, because from what I've seen in the last two nights that I've been in the area, the bluff has been lit up for a good, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes after sunset. So we'll see how we go. But I'll be doing exposure bracketing on this shot, assuming that the foreground's going to be dark, and that will need to be lightened somewhat. But we'll see how we go. It is 6:50 at the moment. Sunset is at 7:20, so half an hour, and we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Nearly there, not far. I reckon another 15 or 20 minutes and the sun will be below that little mountain ridge there, even though, well, yeah, 15 minutes. The sunset's in about 22 minutes. But while we're waiting for that, I hope you can see me. I just wanted to go through my thinking with the setup on the camera at the moment. As you can probably see, I've got a Polariser on the front of the camera. The main reason for that is not so much for glare per se, but more being in this arid area, the colors are quite muted, and just trying to get a little bit more color in the image by the Polariser just naturally saturating the colors a little bit. I'm still shooting like the previous photo at f/16. I don't really feel the need to focus stack in this instance, because yes, I'm quite low down and close, but I don't really think it'll add anything to the photo if I have absolutely everything in focus right at the bottom of the image. It'll pretty well be, but focus stacking for me is not going to add anything other than a complication. As I'm already going to exposure blend, I'll have to exposure blend 2 images with probably 2 or 3 focus stacks, so that's six images, and I don't feel the need. It's just a complication, really. Other than that, I'm looking at my shutter speed. I'm at about 1/15, but I might try and increase that a little bit as the sun goes down, because there is a little bit of wind here that you probably can hear. I don't want the branches to be moving so much that they're blurred, so I'll probably speed that up as we go. But yeah, another 15 or so minutes and we should be able to take a photo. Fingers crossed. Alrighty then. So the sun has just gone behind those mountains, the ridge line. Still about 5 minutes till sunset, but I think that's going to be about it. As you can see, if I bring you over here, you can see that the bluff is actually still got light on it, but the tree is in shadow. Now, I told a fib, I told a lie. I ended up focus stacking. The reason being is because I had an f16 before, but the wind was just a little bit too fast, and it was moving this bush in the foreground, and the only way to stop that was to increase the ISO, and I don't want to go too high. I ended up going to 1000, believe it or not, but I opened the aperture to f7.1, I think, and then I changed the shutter speed accordingly, and I did a focus stack. So faster shutter speed to get the right exposure, but I couldn't get the exposure depth of field, so I did 3 focus stacks right at the base of the tree, 1 in the mid-ground and 1 on the bluff itself in the distance. So I did a few of them. So I think I got the best of the light. I might hang around and see what happens, but I might sign off this video here. Thank you for watching. This is my first video, so I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe, and hopefully there's more to come. Quick fact that I don't think I mentioned already is that I'm actually traveling around Australia until the end of 2020. With the coronavirus, it's made it a little bit difficult, so I'm actually staying in one spot in South Australia near the coast for a month, and then we'll see where things go from there. But follow along on my Instagram as well, Jayotos Photograpghy. I have a website as well, jayotosphotography.com, and obviously my YouTube channel right here. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.